vlog number 1. We're on site with George, ESG Development. And so first off, before we get started, I still owe this guy a house. He's never going to let me down.
I'm waiting for the house.
Still waiting. I still owe him one. But we met George about 2 years ago at one of his, I think that was your first house? Was that your first? The first?
No, I wasn't first, but it was
one of the first
It was
ones.
in the beginning of
the beginning of his development career.
That's right.
Gave me the opportunity to help sell that property. And after seeing George's house compared to a lot of other builders on Long Island, you could see the quality of work was just, you cared so that little bit extra where there's no gaps in the molding. The little things that matter when you see houses over and over again, you really start to realize the craftsmanship and the quality behind A's work than to somebody that does it, B's work. They may be a $50,000 price difference, but the little things add up and they matter over time. So the reason why I wanted to do this with George is because seeing he's been doing ridiculous house over and over again, and the quality never stops. Like anybody that I've spoken to that has dealt with George say the same thing. The quality is top tier. And I agree with that from selling one of his properties. So I wanted to now bring you inside what goes on, because many realtors have no idea what goes on a new construction or how to even speak to their client. And many buyers, when they see a price tag, they have no idea what goes on, how that price even came about. But they don't see the beginning stages of a gigantic hole compared to having a 4,000 square foot house, right? Where are we now? And just give us a little rundown of the project that we're standing on.
Right now we're in Merrick. This is one of the largest homes that's going to come on the market. It's 4,000 square feet. You can see it's an oversized lot. You got 60 by 120.
Okay.
So you got about 20 feet more depth of the backyard. So that allows you to build a big house. So right now we're right at the very beginning of the stage. And like you said, I care about quality. And if you notice the footings even, this is going to be 10-inch wall.
Okay.
Usually it's 8. Most builders do 8-inch wall. We do 10 because it's structurally more sound. It's just a stronger foundation. So
most foundations are 8 inches, but you guys go 10.
We go 10. It's extra expense for us, but it's better for our client. You will never have an issue with cracking, foundation moving, water intrusion, anything like that. So that's from the very beginning. You notice our quality. We start with strong foundation, and everything on top of it obviously
goes up. To get to this point, obviously right now, this is the beginning stages, right? But previously, there was a house here, right?
Yes, there was a house here, so you got to go through the whole process. You got to get a demolition permit. That also is a lot of paperwork. You got to get sign-offs. You got water shut-offs. There was a gas line here, what they call National Grid. They had to shut it off. We had to get PSEG shut off their electrical lines. Then you got to cut off sewer, water. So it takes about 2 months, actually.
So you bought this
house. A lot
house.
of builders cut corners. They don't do demolition. They do extension. They build on top just to avoid that.
Right.
But what you get is a new house with a 9-year-old foundation, which makes no sense. I don't do that. I knock everything down, even though it's, again, more money, more headache, but you got to do it right. And like I said, over the time, you develop a name. They'll say, okay, this is George's house. It's going to be good.
They know what to expect from a George property.
Exactly.
So 2 months, you buy the house. You wait, you file all your permits, you get all the disconnects.
Right.
And then you're able to knock it down.
Yes.
And then you're left with an open canvas, right?
Yes, you're open, you're left with just a field. It's a land. And then you work with your designer, you work with your architect, whoever you're working with. You design a house and you start building it. And obviously the first step is excavation. And this house has a 9-foot basement.
Okay.
So you got to go a little bit deeper than normal.
So 9 feet basement, how deep are you actually digging down by the time you're putting the, everything together?
Well,
how much farther down are you?
You got to go, you got to get the footings in, you got to get your rebar, all this stuff. So you got to go a couple of feet down more.
Okay. And how long does it take to dig out something like this? And what is like a cost of something like this?
Well, first step is obviously excavation. Between excavation and by the time you're ready to frame, that means the walls are formed. It should take 2 to 3 weeks, but again, depends who you're working with. Some people are faster than others, but I would say 2 to 3 weeks. That's your general time frame.
From the footings being...
From the excavation to the time you're ready to frame.
To the time the framing starts.
Because the wall needs about a week minimum to cure. You cannot just start building on top of it because it's still soft.
Right.
Same with the backfill. You got to wait till walls are strong. Another benefit, though, when you have 10-inch wall, you can do it quicker. It's a stronger wall. 8-inch wall. This is 45 feet long. It's a very long wall. So you cannot just backfill and start building because it's gonna crack. It's gonna cave. So for that reason, if you have a bigger wall, you have a couple days. You know,
Saves you a couple days.
exactly. But in general, 2 to 3 weeks is a fair estimate.
Okay. And then in terms of if somebody was looking to do this a one-off, obviously what can somebody expect to pay for something like this?
Don't hold me to it, but depending if it's a big foundation, obviously. But this is a very large foundation. It's actually large as you can go without doing the corners. I would say anywhere between 70,000 to 80,000, 90,000, 70 to 100,000.
In that ballpark.
Yeah.
So that just shows like before you even put one screw in a piece of wood,
That's right.
you're 75, 100
But
grand in
don't
the
forget
hole.
the demolition cost.
Demolition costs,
Demolition cost is another 20, 25,000. So
and
I
you
would
have to
say-
buy the property.
Exactly. But you got an architect already is done. He took about 10 grand, 15 grand. So even if you, like you said, you put any screw in, you're 100,000 in. Without counting the cost of the property. Just between the prep work, all these disconnect letters, all these fees, foundation, excavation, I would say 100,000 you got to have ready for
You got to
that.
have 100 grand ready just to
right.
get to this point.
That's right.
And you're doing more than one at a time.
Yeah,
So-
I'm doing usually 4 or 5 at a time. So
And that's the difference.
I'm invested. Let me
You're
tell you.
invested. You're doing 4 or 5 at a time, but the quality doesn't get skipped over because
No,
you're doing
no.
more properties, which is something that's great.
Every day, they see my face every day. Everybody knows me. I'm not one of those investors laid back and people. I'm there. I'm running my own projects. I'm controlling the quality. I'm in charge and I'm responsible for everything what's going on.
Talk about a little bit what is this house going to offer? You said 4,000 square feet. How many bedrooms? What's the bathroom count?
Yeah.
Give us a little detail for the people that are going to follow this journey. What's going to be going on inside here? Like what's
I
the
said,
George special?
I call this mega mansion. People are saying, "Oh, it's in Florida. It's 10,000. Texas." We're not in Florida. We're not in Texas. You're lucky to find a land this big. Trust me, in Merrick, New York. So 4,000 square feet is max you gotta find really, because we're not in Mutton
don't have
Town.
the
We're not
property
in
size.
Hampton. So be happy if you find 4,000 square feet. So I call it mega mansion, but the reason I'm calling, first of all, this house has 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, has a finished basement, which is rare. Most builders give you unfinished. They're gonna charge you 100,000 or whatever to finish it, but we give you a finished product. It has an outside entrance, very convenient, and it's gonna have 1 bathroom downstairs, 3 bathrooms on the 2nd floor, and 1 bathroom on the 1st floor. So total 5 bathrooms. Interesting fact about this house: architecturally is different. It's a different style house. You'll see it has large windows. It's nothing like all these houses you see around here. This is first house probably in Merrick that's this style, and I'm sure
What made you want that style?
I follow the trends that go on like in the whole country, and I feel like all these houses that they build in Arizona, Texas, California, I'm trying to bring it here.
Different look.
Different look. Let's see how it works. I'm calling right now. This is best house ever sold, ever built in North Merrick. South Merrick is still up there. Waterfront properties. We're not going that far, but I guarantee you in North Merrick, this is gonna be the most expensive house ever built and ever sold. But let's see.
And 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, pool.
Swimming pool, yes. Resort style backyard, large backyard. We're gonna do swimming pool. This has all the bells and whistles. This is primed to be the best house, but like I said, we'll have to wait 5-6 months. We'll find out.
So how long do you expect it from the stage we're at now to the time where people are able to walk in the house and physically get a layout? What do you think is the process timeline?
Okay, my timeline is 3 weeks for foundation, excavation, all that good stuff. Another 3 weeks I'm gonna give to my framer. So in 6 weeks you'll have the house framed.
Really?
You
That
get a
quick?
sense? Well, I gotta push my people. I cannot wait around, man.
Time is money.
I'm millions of dollars in debt, so every day I'm losing $500-600 a day. I'm telling everybody, you're not here to
Move it
play.
along.
You gotta move it along. You wanna work with me? You gotta work like me. So that's where we at. But yeah, about 6 weeks, you'll get a feel how big is the house, and then you gotta do siding, all that good stuff. But we'll get to it.
So 6 weeks though, the house is framed.
Yes, framed, roofed, windows, doors in. What's the date today? In 6 weeks, you'll come back here. If it's not framed, somebody's getting fired right now.
All right, so today's the 27th. So we got 6 weeks from today. So that's
Yes.
that's going to be October, the beginning of November.
Yes, like I said, if They're not. If it's not done framing, somebody's getting fired. Take it to the bank.
Take it to the bank. So, all right. So we're going to be back here next when
we start framing.
We start framing,
yeah,
most likely.
Yeah.
That's
Once the
probably
walls are in,
walls are up.
we'll come back here and we'll talk about framing. What's going on in framing?
Now, the one question I have for you is: some builders love to do this, some builders hate it. Do you try to pre-sell the house before the market, or do you wait for market only?
I tried 2 times and didn't go well both times, and I stopped doing it.
Pre-sell.
Pre-sale. First of all, you cannot really get top dollar because people cannot visualize what you're building. A lot of times they think they like it, but then when they see they don't like it, you have to change, and then you gotta go back and forth. Nobody wants to pay extra for anything.
Yeah.
They think, well, I'm paying you 1.5 million. That should be enough. But you know, if you start changing things, you gotta pay more. And I'm not a fan of pre-sale unless I'm getting some crazy offer that I know it's a good offer.
Right.
Other than that, I'm usually try to build it, stage it,
get it all set,
and then, in my opinion, that's when you get top dollar.
I think that's true because I think people can't visualize anything, even to the staging. People don't want to spend the money on staging, but they need to see the living room. They see the dining room. They can feel it like a home rather than just an empty space.
Yeah, I always stage, and even though it's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, whatever it is, you're in already 500,000. So that $5,000 does not make that much difference. Just look at it as your construction cost, and trust me, the house will always get more money staged, no matter what they say.
You believe that? That was going to be my next question.
I staged the house that you sold. I staged all my houses. Some houses I didn't stage, they didn't sell. Literally, after staging, they got $5,000, $10,000 more because people can see. Especially nowadays, people build like open concept, so you cannot know where is the dining room, living room. But if you stage it, it's all clear.
Yeah.
So you gotta always stage.
So I agree with that. I think, like you said, you did it from the beginning. I think it's a huge benefit, and I think it does warrant a higher price tag when you go to sell as well. So next 6 weeks till today, from today, we're going to be back here.
No, we're going to be back here in about 3 weeks when we start framing.
All right, so we're going to start framing 3 weeks.
And
we'll be back
3
here.
weeks after that.
3 weeks after, we'll be fully framed.
That's right.
All right,
that's
so
the plan.
Stay tuned. If you have any questions construction-wise, hit up George, ESG Development on Instagram. He's going to have the answers, definitely not me. And if you have any questions about the property, feel free to reach out to George as well. And stay tuned for the next episode.